My name is Maximus, and I'm in Stewart Elementary, and I'm in kindergarten.
How's it been being home off of school? Did Mrs. Wharton give you things to do?
Good.
Yeah. What type of things have you done?
Homework,
Homework, yeah, and some books that Mrs. Wharton gave you?
reading.
Very good, yeah. And what about using your tablet? Did you have activities on your tablet?
Yep.
What kind of activities do you have? Math and reading?
Yeah. Sometimes I play spooky games.
Play spooky games? Oh, but
In my iPad, it's like they scare people.
At first, it was a little hard to adjust to things, but then once you start getting used to it, it's a lot of fun. I think it was a lot easier for me because in the beginning, I really wanted to do homeschooling for a long time. So I thought it was fun.
I get up and eat breakfast, then I do my schoolwork, then I go outside, then I come back and it's lunchtime.
It's been different and a bit of a challenge. The district has been super helpful with providing resources. We really get a feel for what they go through on a daily basis. I only have 2 kids at home and they have 20 kids in the classroom. So I'm sure it's a balancing act for them. It's a balancing act for us working full time and trying to make sure that they don't miss a step with their education. So we get a little creative.
Just keeping, a routine. I can't even say keeping a routine. We don't have one yet. We're still working on it. And that's just going to take a little bit of time.
I mean, it's just like normal, basically. It's just at home. You have to do work, and teachers just send work online, which is just normal for me because we usually do technology in school with our work.
I get to take breaks, and I get to take breaks with my mom.
Right now, schools are closed across the country as we all try to stay safe and healthy. But we know, and you know, that it's not just about sitting on the couch and watching Netflix. Like us, you are still hard at work because learning goes on, at home, over Zoom. And we know that this whole switch to online learning has been a huge hill to climb for you and for your teachers and staff. At the same time, all those kids who just a couple weeks ago were filling schools, they're now at home, and so are a lot of adults throughout the country. We are sharing couches, kitchen tables, whole families trying to get life, work, and school done, all in the same place. So today, something a little different. Normally, we bring you stories from schools around the country. Today, we're doing the same thing, sort of. We're checking in with the schooling that is taking place in the living rooms and home offices of some of us here at Frontline. From Frontline Education, this is Field Trip. Mark Johnson works in sales at Frontline. He lives in Northern California.
Our districts are essentially shut down. Last week was actually spring break, and then this week they're going to be back at it, doing digital school or doing remote, learning.
It's been interesting. I have a son and a daughter. My son is 14, so he's in high school, and my daughter is 12, so she's in 6th grade.
That is Susan Sampson in Cleveland, Ohio. She makes training videos for Frontline SIS.
And she was actually off for spring break. She had an early spring break, so she's been home for 2 weeks now. So she's really bored. Actually, my son, since he's in high school, they're doing a lot of online activities. His teachers are sending over everything. He's also in marching band and symphonic band. So his drum teacher said, go ahead and play the drums and take a video of you practicing and send it to me, and that will suffice. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm Andrea Fitzpatrick. I'm the Director of Corporate Communications at Frontline Education. I think the hardest thing is just making sure that we're keeping a good schedule going and making sure that it's not too much disruption to what they would normally experience at schools.
We have 2 kids in the house. They're older kids. They're both in college. So it's my wife and I, and my wife actually works with an after-school program called Girls on the Run. That organization is trying to pivot and figure out how they can do that stuff remotely. For my other 2 children, one of them works at the community college that she also attends here. So she's in the house working from home last week. They were on spring break. This week school starts. My other child is from Humboldt State, and school has closed down for them, and now they'll be doing remote classes. So we've all been kind of on top of each other, so we've tried to be as conscientious as possible of each of our, everybody needs their space.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine doing this for a full year. I mean, it's been a week. We're a little bit worse for the wear, but in a good way. I mean, I'm learning a ton about what they're learning in class. I'm revisiting some of the things that I remember from that age.
Mark Tedishi also works in sales with Frontline. He and his family live in Texas.
Mrs. Wharton, Max's kindergarten teacher, has stepped up to the challenge. She was somebody who we thought was exceptional even during normal circumstances. Max's mommy, my wife, happens to be a high school Spanish teacher in the area, so we know very well how challenging that job is during normal circumstances. Then throw in a global crisis as we're in right now, and it basically amplifies that challenge exponentially. What Mrs. Wharton has done has been in communication, has been leveraging technology to give Max activities that were both fun and educational at the same time. So really making the best of the time that we have, and she's really stepped up to the challenge. We really appreciate all that Mrs. Wharton has done.
My name is Carly Tramato, and I'm Senior Manager with the Client Success Team. I'm located here remotely in New Jersey. This is my daughter, Olivia. It's funny because a lot of times she's up in her room doing her homework, and we hear them giggling, and I'm yelling up the stairs, "You're supposed to be doing homework!" And meanwhile, I slink up the stairs, and she's actually on FaceTime with her friends doing their homework. So I think for them, this has been a pretty easy transition because they've been engaging in this kind of behavior for a long time. The kids just sort of live in that environment. So it's been pretty good for them.
These times really aren't easy for anybody. You are in the middle of making decisions that you didn't know you'd have to make. Teachers are forced to jump into online learning with little to no warning. Lesson plans are upended, families are all together under one roof all the time, and kids are having to adjust as much as anyone.
Not seeing my friends and just sometimes it's harder to figure out how to just make everything, because sometimes you need to do schoolwork and then the computer doesn't work. That makes it hard to do.
To me, and I missed a whole entire conference.
Oh, because we couldn't log into Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a little bit tough. Mm-hmm.
If you have a question about something, like from not understanding something, I can't immediately raise my hand and ask my teachers. I have to kind of try and figure it out on my own and email them. And sometimes ask my parents, but if they're not always available, then I have to wait a little bit for my teachers to get back to me to get my question answered. So that's probably the hardest part.
I think the other thing is, as we just experienced, I think we're having bandwidth issues on my internet where we're fighting for the bandwidth. And I'm trying to reprioritize different devices that get more priority than others.
That's Laura Kirkham. She also works in sales with Frontline and lives in North Carolina. Her daughter Izzy said that she doesn't like being away from people.
I think the hardest thing is my relationship with my friends. I kind of miss seeing them in school because it's just so familiar to see them in school, and it's where are my friends? I want to talk to my friends. And
Good point.
It's hard.
My niece is 7, so my sister-in-law, who's also a teacher, has to juggle teaching her students online, but also managing and monitoring her 7-year-old's learning, along with, she also has a 5-year-old at home.
I think one of the other challenges for us here is just keeping a positive attitude. I mean, my son's a teenager, my daughter's a preteen, and we all know they get a little crabby, and they're kind of looking to me to not be crabby. So I am trying very hard to keep a positive attitude.
Even as we all navigate this brave new world of learning at home, we're seeing a lot of good things. We see that schools are pulling together and serving our kids incredibly well. And kids, despite being cooped up inside much of the time, for the most part, they're doing great.
I've been surprised by how used to the schedule the kids are and how conscientious they are when it comes to it. They're kind of keeping me on schedule and saying, we've been doing our reading for 30 minutes. It's time to switch to math. And they know what that looks like just because the district keeps them on such a good schedule and they're used to it.
Without a doubt, from those that I've spoken with, they are adjusting so well. They're working so hard. to really continue the learning. I think the kids are I'm amazed at how hard they're working. And I'm incredibly impressed by how adaptable the teachers have been. They jumped right in with 2 feet. They didn't miss a beat. They just started finding some project-based learning to fill the immediate void, giving them projects to do at home. And then as soon as they could, they immediately started up with some routine classroom work.
My son's teachers in his school has sent a lot of free activities home for them to do, free yoga classes, or we're streaming yoga at this time.
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from parents directly.
Kirsten Salucci's husband, Rob, works in sales at Frontline. But Kirsten is a teacher. And yep, right now, she is teaching from home.
Our principal has shared quite a bit of positive feedback from parents as well. So that aspect of it has been a surprise, and a good surprise for sure.
I'm really impressed with how they continue to nurture and care for the kids, even though they're not there in the same classroom with them. I've seen examples of teachers reaching out via Zoom or whatever it might be and still engaging with the kids. And then I would say the food services folks feeding those children that aren't normally able to get meals, except at school, a free lunch. And just continuing that effort is huge to me. That's been very impressive.
So I'm completely impressed. And my daughter's elementary school just started with that this week also. So super impressed by the adaptability and stepping up.
It made me realize they're putting their time into us because they're at home and they could just spend time with their family. But they're putting work in every day to do video chats with us and make sure we're doing our work correctly and make sure we're understanding it.
I feel that the communication has been fantastic. My daughter's school has been using a software called Class Dojo, and you can put videos in there. So teachers have been posting videos, counselors have been posting videos and resources, for mental health, as well as, we miss you and we hope you're doing your work. There's so many resources that have been sent to us just to help out the kids, and it's been pretty incredible.
Not even just our administrators, but teacher coaches that we have. We're actually implementing a new math program at the elementary stage this year. And the math coaches have just been fabulous in terms of providing resources, giving example lesson plans, making sure that everything's being uploaded properly. And then people that I work with directly, so on my 3rd grade team, have done such a fabulous job of hopping on the computer. Even if they're not technology savvy, they've really just jumped in and just tried their best, which I think is all you can really hope for at this point.
Just this morning, I was at the school picking up a laptop for the girls to be able to continue being involved in class.
Yes, that's me. It sounds different because I'm at my laptop, on Zoom, in my dining room, next to my kids.
And I was so impressed by the way that they're trying to safely distribute laptops, the staff that has had to really take a completely different direction from what they thought March and April would look like, and be able to distribute equipment and keep track of it and help kids log in and help the teachers be able to connect with the students. It's been so impressive as I've seen the district do that, as well as feeding, providing lunches for a number of kids who rely on the school for lunches. It's been really neat to see so many people step up and get involved in helping to continue to provide those meals.
We've always known the teachers are just amazing folks, just have this passion to help. But it's even more obvious now. The amount of time these people put in, first of all, to keep up with the coursework that they're trying to maintain. Then they've had to learn a whole new set of technology to be able to deliver the coursework. They're not used to doing this stuff virtually. So I give them kudos just because they're doing, double time, and huge appreciation for what they do.
So I have so much respect for so many of the administrators.
That's Emily Quibido, a client support manager at Frontline.
That their districts are shut down and they're still reaching out to support. Like they're still doing a lot of business as usual stuff when I know that on top of that, they have family at home. They have, suddenly uncertain roommate arrangements. They have to do disaster planning that they've never expected to have to do. So on one hand, like the administrative side is just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are superheroes.
So I've always worked with, teachers, administrators, educators of all sorts, departments of ed. And I've always had a really deep appreciation and respect for the difficult job they have, having been on both sides of it. But in this respect, this just adds a whole new level of respect to see how they have all come together and worked so hard. It's just amazing. You see them, their hearts are pouring out for how much they care about their students. They always did, but I think a time like this, you just really see it so much more and you appreciate it so much more for how hard they work and what they do for our students every day.
All of us here at Frontline have a few things that we would like to say to those of you working in education.
I miss you. If I had her number.
Thank you for putting your time for us, and they're just good people.
I would say thank you to all of those educators out there who are really just taking so much extra time, because this is definitely an added burden to have to figure all this out while you're doing the phenomenal job that you've always done. So thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing for our children to keep the learning moving forward, because parents out there, we truly appreciate it. So thank you.
Hang in there. What you're doing is the most important job I think anyone can do in this world, affecting and helping children to grow and be everything that they can be. And even in times like this, probably now more than ever, they need strong leaders like you to help them get to where they're going to be. And there's light at the end of this tunnel. It might be a long tunnel, but I know there's light on the other side.
Keep up the good work. We appreciate it. Keep us informed, and thank you so much.
Just thank you for making this easy on all of us and for doing everything that you're doing, staying in constant contact, and being really creative when it comes to keeping up with the learning that our kids have to accomplish. I mean, they can't stop in their journey, and you've made sure that that they don't, and we all really appreciate it.
I would just reach out and say, all you teachers, I just want to give you huge hugs, rounds of applause. I thank you for what you do. I know this is as challenging for you all as it is for us, and you're doing a great job. It's going to get better, and we will get through this.
Thank you for making this easy, and thank you for giving us easy assignments to start off with, just so we can figure out technology and then start learning new stuff.
Thank you for caring for my kids. It means a lot.
Speaking directly to teachers, administrators, staff, thank you for everything that you've always done. Without you, we would be in shambles. And it's unsung a lot of times. People take it for granted. I just want to make sure that you hear we're so grateful, not just for right now, but for all of history.
Kudos to them, because it was just amazing how great that they're doing, and especially because some don't really know how to work all the technology yet. So by learning it at home, because they can't have their meetings anymore, it's great how fast that they're doing it. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wharton. I love you. You're the best teacher ever.
Field Trip is a podcast from Frontline Education. Thank you for all that you do, and we all hope that you stay safe and healthy.